Lately, it's been a pretty reflective moment for me, a reflective time for that matter. And as I've been reflecting on my life, what stands out is the growth that I've had in the last 4 years or so. It's been about 4 years since I've made that last video, so I figured it was a good time. It's been incredible, to say the least. I feel like I came out of high school feeling very alone and very lost, in the sense that as I was going to school, I didn't really know anybody, and I felt isolated, and I was living in a studio apartment by myself that was incredibly small, and my front door was like a main street of the city, and it wasn't in the best part of the city. I think being alone during that time was very important and very crucial to my growth. And I think when you purposely decide to isolate yourself, you can either go, one way is to go crazy maybe, and another way is to decide to focus internally in a positive way. And I guess I would be lying if I said that that was easy, because it wasn't. And I feel like it's taken me about 4 years to get to this point to realize that I was able to do it the best way that I could. And during that, there was definitely hard moments. I remember vividly allowing myself to record moments that I was down, and good moments as well. And though I haven't looked back at those videos completely, I remember feeling inclined to feel as if I hit a checkpoint. And I think after getting school taken away from me during COVID, I think it really put me in a place where I had to make a decision for myself, which was to either decide to take a step back and go a different route for work, or continue to stay in the creative and visual art world, specifically film. And I was able to continue to do that, but at a cost. I was making not a lot of money, and what had happened with school was that they allowed us to rent out the gear over the summer, since our semester was cut early. Our spring semester was cut early. About a month into the summer, I decided to go in and rent some gear, and this gave me a chance to develop my eye and my cinematography, and it also gave me a chance to understand that I couldn't live without film and without documenting things. And if I could document moments in my life in a beautiful way, I figured that that'd be a good place to start. I ended up getting really close with a group of friends that actually had went to my high school, but that I had never socialized or interacted with really. And it was funny running into them at their house during a party or something, and realizing that we had that connection of home, and realizing that the social barrier of being that they were a year older than me was kind of like gone, and that we were able to just like kind of hang out. And slowly that developed into an awesome friendship that ended up becoming my next living situation. And I ended up moving in with two of my close friends, and it felt good. We found a decent place to live, and during this time we actually were able to do a couple things. One is that we decided to play music together and jam frequently, to the point that our downstairs neighbor would get mad at us, and it ended up being kind of a core staple in our living environment, our living situation. Another thing that we did was travel. Although the international travel situation was pretty hard, my roommates and I decided to do road trips and go to national parks, and decided to try and make a series where the goal was to hit all 63 national parks and document our experience. So honestly, guys, we don't know what we're doing. We're 3 people who just want to travel and share the journey.
We're visiting every national park in the United States. We're hopping in the van. We're traveling to all these crazy places that none of us have really either been to or spent that much time in, and we're exploring and checking out the national parks and making videos on them.
We ended up hitting about 4 or 5, but we only ended up releasing about 3. But nonetheless, though we weren't able to succeed in that creative endeavor, we were able to succeed in the adventure. And honestly, those trips have been ingrained in me as one of the best moments of my life. I ended up jumping between a couple different jobs, working at a camera shop and then being a videographer for a clothing company, and ended up leaving and having a gap where I wasn't really working, and I was kind of using up all my savings to pay for rent and maybe doing DoorDash on the side. And honestly, looking back, it wasn't really the best time. Although I was around great people and having good experiences and going out and having fun with friends and stuff, I felt personally in my creative endeavors, I wasn't really doing much. I was also able to focus on my music, which has always been something that's been really important to me. I think since I stopped playing with my band in high school, I've been incredibly eager to continue to do music. I started releasing music on SoundCloud and ended up releasing a couple singles on Spotify and Apple Music. And in this moment, as I'm recording this, I'm currently working on my first solo project, which I'm incredibly excited about. I remember telling myself that I wanted to perform more, whether that was with a band or by myself, and a great way of doing that in my mind was to do open mics. And I had that desire basically right before COVID happened. And once that happened, there was about a year and a half in which public venues weren't really open, coffee shops weren't doing things like that, and it was kind of a bummer. So I was able to choose then to focus on my musicality in general, and ended up picking up a couple different instruments that I never really picked up before, which was like bass and drums. And oddly enough, because I wasn't working full time, I was able to focus on my music so much and be so engulfed in that. When I stumbled upon the place that I work now, they actually do an open mic there. That opportunity, being able to work that event, gave me an incredible chance to do what I wanted to do a year and a half prior. It's been crazy because looking back and realizing that I've been out of high school for about 4 years now has been humbling. Because really what that means is, as my friend Nate would say, is that we're really just 4 years out of tutorial mode. And it's kind of true. And I feel very infant in my adult years. if that makes any sense. Being that I'm only 22 years old, I feel like I haven't really have had the moments in which I seek and in which I look forward to. And that's okay. But in the last 4 years, I've accomplished incredible things and accomplished almost all the things that I wanted to. In fact, I started writing down affirmations through this list of affirmations here. I can proudly say that I've either accomplished these affirmations and these goals or am in the process of becoming these things. And these things really are just ways and characteristics and systems in my life that can lead me to be the person that I'm meant to be, the best version of myself. And lately I've been realizing how important that is to me. And I've been taking time to develop a routine and a system in my life and values that's given me the chance to understand that I'm very lucky, very fortunate to be here, to be able to document this point in time in which I'm at, hopefully to be able to look back on one day. And I spent a lot of the last 4 years being very doubtful and uncertain. And there were an incredible amount of hardships and points of adversity, but it was almost necessary. And it's only made me stronger to handle life and the intensity of life, and coming to terms that life that doesn't really ever get easier, but that you have the opportunity to get stronger only gives me hope that I can. And I don't know, I just felt the need to talk about this. I don't know what the future looks like yet, but I'm so excited, and I'm just so ready to continue to grow. But anyway, thank you so much for watching and taking the time to hear me rant. If this says anything, hopefully you know that I'm rooting for you. And I know that life is hard. But honestly, we're all in it together, as alone as it may feel sometimes. So go live and have a good one.